Can you see okay?
Yeah, brilliant. Have I got to do anything?
Well, I'm just waiting to see.
What did Mum say? Barton-on-Sea.
Barton-on-Trent, wasn't it?
Barton-on-Sea.
Barton-on-Sea.
I know where Barton-on-Trent is. That's up by Oxford.
Oh. Just got to wait to see if anyone joins.
Barton-on-Sea. Right, where's Robert? Oh. Oh. It's near us.
Is it?
Christchurch. Barton-on-Sea.
Hi, Vicky.
Oh.
Can you see who's joined?
No.
I'm just waiting to see if there's a couple more people wanting to join.
Vicky. And someone else. I don't know who that is.
I've got my husband helping me, but he's not that good.
Simon Louise Taylor.
Okay.
And Vicky. Vicky's waving with a
Hi,
dog.
Vicky. Just going to give it a couple more minutes and then see if anyone else joins. If they don't, I'll carry on and people can catch up or watch it back.
Yeah, no. Oh. On your New Milton. Yeah.
How's everyone today? Enjoying the sun? Yeah, good. I love the better weather. I'm not a cold weather person at all. Hi. What did I do? I'm going to be doing basic 3D flowers on a bow tonight. Has anyone ever done any 3D before? No? That's why I have someone with me, so they can see.
Oh, you got Marcia. Oh.
Okay. Hi, Marcy. Okay, what I think I'll do is I think I'll start to save you lot hanging around and then people can catch up or rewatch it back. I think that's the thing to do. So tonight I'm doing basic 3D flowers and a couple of different bows. Okay, so I can't concentrate. Okay, so what I've done is I've painted some nail tips all ready to use, and they're the holographic brand from Jules. So they're not quite a gel polish. They sort of air dry and dry in the lamp a bit at the same time. So, but my customers love them. So, and they look quite fresh for this time of year. So that's why I've opted for them. So what I'm going to do is I think we'll do just something like this first. Just a basic flower. Okay. Okay, can we all see? Okay, I've put it on here because it's closer so we can see. Okay, so today I'm going to be using, you can use whatever coloured acrylic you like, but today I'm using a pink one from NSI. I've had this one for donkeys actually. It's called Tie-Dye Pink. Okay, it's quite bright. So what I've done is 2 coats of my holographic, and then I've put a matte top coat. Reason being is so it sticks better. If you're just doing it on top of acrylic design work, you don't have to put anything on. You can just work straight on top of the filed acrylic. But if you're putting it on top of the polish, then matte top coat is the best way forward. Oh, you can go, but I'll be all right.
We won't go out of it, will it?
Okay, so I'm using a 3D brush, and it's a 3D oval 2 from SBD. Cute little brush. So obviously you dip in your monomer, and if I move this just out the way just for a minute. Oh, hang on, I've got a kitten come to play. Bear with me. Get down, get down, get down. Okay, kitten being invaded by a kitten. Okay, so you pick up a tiny bead, and if you pick it up, oh, can you see it? If you pick it up too wet, you can dry the back of it out on the back of on some kitchen towel. So I'm going to pick it up and put it on. Okay. And I'll leave that to set for a second. I could probably have done a bit of a smaller one, but never mind. We'll just push it up into a little ball like that. Can you see what I'm doing there? So it's in a nice little ball, and we need it to sort of half set, not completely. But if you try to do it too soon, it just goes back, and so you have to keep redoing what you're doing. So for a little basic petal, you put the middle of your point of your brush in the middle of your bead, and you push down like it's plasticine, and there you've got a basic petal. Okay, let's do the same on this side. So when you're doing flowers should be done in odd numbers. So petals are always on odds. So they're either 3s, 5s, 7s, that kind of thing. They're never even numbers. So I'm just going to move that away just a little bit. Put it into my little circle. Wait for it to set just a little bit more. You know when it's setting because it loses its shine. So you could go back through with a wet brush and give it a bit more play and create more of a petal shape. This is really basic, this shape that I'm showing you. Okay, so again, from the middle, from where you want the middle of your flower, I'm so sorry if you can see a kitten. He's getting right underneath. Put in the middle and press. Okay, like that. So we'll leave that one and we'll go to a next one. And we'll put that there. So if your bead's a bit too dry, you could dip your brush in your monomer and just slightly touch your bead, and it will moisten it up for you. So I'm just pushing it into where I want it. I'm just gonna go back through this one. That's it. Wait for that. As I say, this is really basic flowers, okay, but you know, customers do like them. And sometimes, if you're not comfortable with doing more, doing less simple is more effective. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to set a bit. That's it. And I'm going to repeat over the nail. Okay, so we try not to do them so they're in a line. So I've done that one over that side more, so I'm going to do this one over this side more. Okay. Once you've got the gist of it, you could put 3 beads down at once. But if you're not quite confident in doing that, just do single beads at a time. Because, you know, you could end up with hard bits of acrylic on your customer's nail. Okay, and remember in this heat, it does set just a tad quicker. So that's it. We'll just put it into place. And say this is really simple. Okay. But if you've got a matching coloured acrylic paint or acrylic underneath the colour of the flowers that you're using, it can look really quite effective. Again, that's ready. So make sure you're pointing to the same middle as your other one and press. And you can press it out both ways a bit, so you can sort of direct where you want your petal to go. Put another one in here. Doesn't matter if it's going to go off the edge, because sometimes I put 1 or 2 petals just on the edges so it looks like a bit of a flower, so it just doesn't look so uniform. Flowers aren't uniform, so the knack is to be just a tad patient with your acrylic. Obviously in the heat it goes off a bit quicker. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm literally putting my point in and I'm pushing flat. That is all I'm doing, and that's creating my petal shape. There is no special way of doing it as such. So down here I'm just going to do a 2-1 here, then maybe do a petal here, maybe a petal here, and then I'll show you the middles. You could put diamantes in the middle if you wanted. There's no hard and fast rule. Say what you can and can't do. That's the good thing about art. Change it up however you like. Just learn the basics and then adapt it to the way you like working. That's what I do. I think it would be a shame if we all worked exactly the same way. We wouldn't get any of these fabulous new techniques that we see. So that needed to be brought back in a bit. That's it. Just wait for that. What I could do is, while I'm waiting, I could put another, pick that up properly. I could pick another one up and put it here. And leave that to set. Again, in the middle, put the point down and press. You can press and pull or just press. It's entirely up to you, depending on the effect that you want. Okay, so while that's still setting, I'm just going to put here. And do that. Oh, the kitten's just jumped on my lap. Sorry, that put me off my concentration a bit. I'm just going to do that one again. Oh, it hurts. Kittens and their claws. Wowza. Okay, so I'm happy with this one. It's almost set. So and I'm going to put another one here. Let that set. Okay, put that there. And then we could put maybe just the tip of one there, do you think? So I'm just putting a little tiny bead there, and maybe just a tiny bead. So we're seeing like the tops of the flowers, the petals, maybe. Okay, let's do this one. Just flatten in, and you get your nice shape of a petal. You can flatten it and drag it as much as you want. I'm just going to put that little bit in there. And that little bit there. So we've got the top of a one. Right, so for a middle, pick another small bead up. You can see. Just put it in the middle. Leave it to set. Okay, go to your next one. Pick another bead up. Depending how big your flowers are, is how big your bead is. And just leave it there to set for a minute. That's better. Okay. Even your half of flowers, they've still got half a middle to them. So I'll just do that for a minute. And then I put my brush in, point down, and create a round hole. Like that. So then you can push it out a bit as you're doing it. So you swirl around and sort of lay it flatter out a bit as you're going round. Like that. Does that make sense? Okay, let's just put one more. I'm going to get rid of the kitten because he's doing my head in a minute. Thing. You can faffen if you want. But this is what we call just a basic, literally a basic flower, but can look very, very pretty. Okay, and that's that one done. While you're taking a quick look at that, I'm just getting rid of the kitten. It's been thrown out of the room. Dog's going as well. Out you go. Peace. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so that's how we do what I would call a really basic flower. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do, let me just put that on here. Okay, I've got an orangey one. Okay, and I'm going to try and use, I've not used this for 3D work before, but I'm going to try it. Trilogy, and it's called Coral Island. It's quite pretty. Some brands are better at doing 3D work with than others. So, you know, it depends what you've got. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this one next. So it's a similar but slightly different flower. Okay, and I'm going to do a corner piece. So again, you pick up your bead, and let it set. And in this one, we're gonna flatten the petals more, and they're gonna overlap one another slightly to give a slightly more realistic look. Okay, but again, it's the same technique. Keep your point of your brush in the middle and push flat. Then you go to the side with it flat like that, and then flat again. You always keep the point in the middle. Okay. Then we're going to do another one and put it here. And see, so you've got that round into the point here. Again, I'm doing a three petal flower. When you're first practicing, try and keep it as simple as possible until you've got the hang of it a bit more. Helps. So in the middle again, and I'm going to press down, and then I'm going to press over like this, so it's overlapping, and here, so pull that in and push that out. And can you see it's slightly overlapping, and you can upturn the edges a little bit to create a bit more movement in the flowers. Okay, we'll pick another bead up and put it here. I don't think I used slightly big enough bead, but we'll make it do. Make sure it overlaps slightly. Just like that. Okay? And then we're going to create just some loose petals coming down. So you start off slightly bigger and work smaller. You could do leaves if you wanted. Again, the middle, we do the same way as we did the last one. So just leave that in there. Again, you could put diamante if you wanted to. So these petals, we want to drag it just slightly. Like that. Okay. Okay, put some, just tip up the edges a bit, and it gives it a bit of life. It's not flat. That's the whole point of 3D. Okay, so you pick up a slightly smaller bead this time and do it again. I think I might put a little small one here. If it goes out of shape slightly, you can pull it in a bit like that, and can you see it's created a slightly different shape, but it looks pretty. Smaller bead. Oh, I just dropped it. Let's do this one. You see, so I've got it going butt up against that one to create a bit of movement. Oh my God. So as it's getting closer to the point, the petals should be getting slightly more closed. So you bring those sides in a bit more. Like that. Oh, I didn't do this bit. Oh, I missed it. I'll take it off and redo that bit. So we want just a little one, just to put here. Let me get my clippers. Let's see if I can get just that little bit off. Yeah, it wasn't quite done. There we go. Okay. So you put a little bit in here. And I'll do my point. So it's just a little hint of a petal there. And again here you put your, and you create your circle. Okay, so that's that one. Very simple, but very pretty. Okay, so next one. I could show you how to do a rose type one, like this. So I'm going to do this on this one, and I think I'll do white. So I've got some white. Oh, and the one I'm using is a tester pot I got from Wow Bow. Okay, so with this flower we start from the outside, working our way in. So you pick up a bead, not a massive bead, this sort of size. Put it on where you want it. I always re-dip my brush, then dip it on my paper, so I'm not pulling the acrylic off. And then basically we're going to drag our bead into like a C crescent shape, like this. And then we start to pat down, just like this. But remembering, we're creating a flower, so you don't want it uniform. You want it to look a bit shape. And if it's sitting on top of the now, it doesn't have to be quite as flat. If you were to encapsulate it, you'd have to do it really flat. I could probably cover that on another day. Okay, another bead. And we can put that one here. Again, dip my brush, tap it on my tissue, and create a crescent like a C. But you want it to come in past that one a little bit. So we're overlapping, and bring that in. And again, we do the same. We just flatten it a bit. I always bring it out a little bit to create a bit of movement. Get another bead. So basically we're creating a bit of a circle with them all interlinking a little bit, like you would, like normal flowers would. Again, you get your bead ready and start putting it into your crescent. This is where I normally turn my customer's fingers all the way round, trying to get the angle that I want to work at. Okay, so I want that bit like that, and maybe that out a bit more, and then I can flatten all. And you can see I just overlap it and don't push it completely flat. So you can see there's movement in the petals. If it's too rigid, too perfect, It doesn't look right. Flowers are not like that. Pick another bead up and put it going across where these two overlap. I think I've just put a bit too much there, so I might just take a little bit out. And again, you're creating your C. Okay. And you press flat. Okay. You could have done it a bit closer if you wanted to, but I tend not to. Alright, so the bigger flower you do, the more times you do this. I'm doing a small one tonight because my tips are small. I'm running out of nail tips to work on, so I've had to use smaller ones tonight. So I'm going to pick up a bead, put it in the middle, dip my brush in my monomer, dip it back in my bead a bit so it's not totally dry, and just let that settle for a minute. So that's my dog crying to come in the room. Wanted to go out and now wants to come back in. And then what we need to do is we need to start going round our acrylic like this in a swirl. Like that. Okay, and then you can bring your swirl edges out a bit so it doesn't look like just a swirl. And there is your middle of your flower. Again, if you bodge it, it don't matter. Put a crystal over it. Your customer's not going to notice. Alright, so I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to do a couple of turquoisey colour leaves. It's Trilogy and it's called Turquoise Surprise. So, for a leaf, you pick up a bead like you normally would and put it down. Okay, leave it to settle for a minute. And then what you do is you drag your acrylic into a point like this. So you're creating like a leaf shape. Okay, just leave it to settle just a little bit longer. And then what I do, you could use a cuticle pusher for doing this too. Using the side of my brush, I just put little lines in down like that. And then you can manipulate it a bit. But you've got a little leaf there. I could have done that a tad closer, but never mind. Okay, let's do another one. This one's going to be slightly bigger. And then I'm just going to show you a trick with painting with this coloured acrylic too, just a little bit. And again, you bring it out into its point. Like that. Wait for it. Once it starts losing its shine, you know it's starting to set. And again, do your side bits. And I'm just going to lift that up to create a kink. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to pick up that much. Can you see? That much. And I'm going to paint. So you're working very wet. And I'm going to paint that just on the inside of my flower. So we're using our acrylic as paint. You could use gel polish or gel paint if you want. And it just gives your flowers that little bit of depth. So you put it on and basically take it back off again. So it's just literally on the very inside of it. You see, and because we've chosen that sort of colour for the background, it all sort of blends in nicely. So I put it on and basically take it back off. So it's only a little bit down there. Okay, just put a little bit more in the middle, just a very tiny bit. Put it on and take it off. Okay, and there you've got two-tone rose with some leaves without having to pick up two different coloured beads of acrylic to create the two-tone. You can go back in and colour in to give yourself a two-tone effect. It's easier if you're not quite so sure or as confident with your acrylic. And you're using your acrylic to create in here just like a paint. So if I show you on my tin, that is how much I've put. And you can see it's very wet, and then you can just paint with it. See? And it's very faint. And that's what you're doing to your flower. You're putting it on very wet and wiping most of it off, but just leaving a hint. And it looks really, really good. Okay, so that's the rose one. Okay. Should we do a... I'll do a bow next, excuse me. Asthma, hay fever, just what you don't need. I'm just going to do a little quick bow. I don't know if anyone's done a bow before, but this is just a quick, easy bow. There are far more complicated ones to do, but if you can do this one, again, why not? It's it looks good. So I'm going for a green to complement the green of my nail. Again, it's all about petals, really. You bead that side. Bead roughly the same size. Oh God, I keep dropping them. That side. See, that one's a little bit big. I'm just going to take a bit off. Use it like that. And again, we're pressing. And then, so I've pressed slightly and I'm dragging it out. And then you turn your brush sideways and you do this. Bring it out like that. And do the same on this side. And you get that bow effect. You see? Let's just push all this into place, ready to do it. Don't be frightened to work with it, you know. Press down, turn your brush sideways and pull it out like that. Do the same again on the other side and pull it out. So it looks like a bow. You've got this bit here. You could put a little dimple bit in if you wanted. Okay. Then for this bit here, what I do, I pick up a bead, put it in the middle and leave it to settle for a second. And this one I'm going to put a little diamond in the middle So with this one, I'm going to cut it in half with my brush. Push that over there. Push that up into the middle and drag it to wherever I want it. So you can leave it like this. You could put a little slit in the middle. So you get your bow bits. I'm not sure I like that bit. I think I'll leave it like that. Again, it doesn't have to go straight down. You can create a bit of a twist. So it looks a bit more natural. And then I use SBD's glue stick. Blooming amazing stuff. To stick my gems on. Put a pop on there. And find a gem. So I don't want one that's too big, do I? So I'll go for this one. And pop that there in the middle. You could use a bigger one, you could use a smaller one. It's each to their own. And then what you can do, you don't have to keep them matte. You can paint your gel polish top coat around. So you end up with your nice shiny nail. So that's what I would call a really basic, cute little bow. Probably could have done with a slightly bigger gem, but never mind. Okay, I'm just going to stick that in the lamp to cure. Okay, so one other thing I'm going to show you. I'm going to work with white again, I think. And I'm just going to do a bit of a little tiger lily. Okay. So tiger lily is normally 5 petals. So if you bear that in mind. So you could do it with a bit of with gel paint. Let me get my paint out. So with a thin brush, I'm going to use white because I'm using white acrylic. You could create dots where your petals are going to go. Yeah, to help give you, that doesn't have to be the ends of your petals, but that's where that petal is going to sort of go, to help give you some guidance. Okay, let me just flash cure that. Okay, so this one's out and done. Nice and pretty. These are very basic stuff, but that's how we learn. We start with basic and we, I didn't add a middle bit, and we progress from there. It's all about trial and error. So all our petals are going to be aiming towards that middle dot. You don't have to do the dots, but sometimes people find it easier to get a relatively correct shape, because sometimes you could end up with what looks like a starfish, which has happened to me many times. So pick my bead up. You're not working with very big beads, can you see? Okay, so I'm just going to put it in between those two, because that's my middle and I want to come straight up. Okay, So it's the same with a leaf. You pull it out and out. And then you create. So you have to remember, lily leaves, they're not all symmetrical, they're not all perfect. So don't try and make them perfect. So adding a bit of a kink here, I've got a bit of a kink there. You could wait for that to settle just a little bit more, and then we could lift it a bit more slightly, and I can show you that in a second. We go to our next one. And it doesn't matter if they overlap. Can you see? It gives your flowers movement. And that's what you're aiming for. So we bring it out like we would a leaf, and then we add a bit of character. See? A bit like that. Can you see? You can make it as big or as small as you want. Okay, let's do this one here. Create my leaf shape, and then you start adding your character. Bring it to a point here and there. Bring it in like that. Bring another one here. You can make them as big or as small as you like. So this one, I think maybe going to be slightly too big. Let's take some of that away. We don't want it to outbalance. So and this is where I ponce and until I find the shaped leaf I want. That's too big. I think I'm going to take that off and do that one again. I started off too big in the first place. There we go. Put that there. Sometimes I do them too small, sometimes I do them too big. We're all learning. So let's bring that over there so it okay. Another one here. I think that might be a bit big. Let me take a bit off. And then we bring it out. You can see I've got it overlapping here, overlapping there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put just a tiny bit in here because it could do with Okay, so it looks a bit like a starfish at the moment, but it won't do. While I'm waiting for that to dry a bit more, we'll do some flowers. So lily leaves are slightly longer. So I'm just gonna put that in there like that. And bring it round down to a point. God, my mother would kill me if she saw me with these. I used to be a florist. See, I'm just adding more depth to that. Again, we want that going in, so it looks like it's coming from behind. And we're pulling it out. So it's like a very, very long leaf, thinner. And then you just do what you did with the petals really, but we're just doing on a lot thinner, a lot. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do, could do one at the top too, couldn't I? Let me turn that round. Okay, that's it. So with a blue, because we've got a blue background, I've gone for quite a dark blue there. Try it. We're going to paint again. Okay, so we pick up the tiniest bit we need, wet our brush again, and paint up sort of in the middle and up the side. In the middle and up the side. Again, as you put it on, you wet your brush and you take it back off again. Okay. Don't really get blue lilies, but you know, I just fancied blue. And you're creating depth and definition. And I always add it to the bit that's lifted and going to the point. And you see? Let's put just okay, just like that. Okay, and then with a bit of you can use gel polish, you can use gel paints, whatever you've got at hand. I'm going to use a bit of black. Just get my dotting tool. And we're going to create little dots. Lilies have dots on the leaves. So you can put a couple in the middle and maybe a couple going up like that. Just like that. Put a bit more on that one. I think I'm going to add in a bit of yellow, a few little yellow dots. With the green, I'm going to just add some highlights here and there on top of the leaves. I can't say that's my best lily, but never mind. See, and so you can actually see what they're supposed to be. Okay, got that in my brush. Then I think I might highlight my flower a bit more. So I'm just going to semi-cure that. Right, so I've made a bit of a blue, darker blue gel paint, blue and black mixed together, and I've put a bit of top coat down on my palette so it becomes a transparent colour. And then we can start to add bits. Okay, off the other end of my brush, more top coat, so you can just fade it out a bit so it's there but it's not. It's there but it's not. I think it just adds some nice subtle depths to it that you could okay, just add a bit more top coat. It just softens it. If you don't want your dark bits or whatever to look shiny, use a matte top coat rather than a shiny. See, and it starts giving off a bit, just a bit more. I'm just gonna put some line in. I'm gonna put a bit in here. Okay, it's not the best, but it'll do. Okay, so that's all I'm doing for tonight. Please post your creations for me. I do give a completed certificate if you want one. Once again, I'd love to see your variations of what I've shown you. And until next time, I'll just show you what this one looks like. Okay, there we go, all finished for tonight. Okay, thanks for joining me. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.